Hi everyone, I'm very glad to be able to present my work with the title of Analysis on the Level of Interest Towards the Post-COVID-19 Japanese Exchange Program among the Malaysian academia. I'm Dr. Gan Hong-Seng from the Malaysia Alumni of Sakura Science Association. So about this study, the we aims to tackle the motivation of the Malaysian academia in traveling to Japan for the exchange program after the COVID-19. Retrospectively, the COVID-19 outbreak has put the bustling outbound research exchange activity to a temporary hold. And during these periods, the lockdown were imposed across the world in order to combat the spread of pandemic and limit the access to physical interaction. However, when the situation improved, physical traveling is allowed and traditional form of exchange program has been reoffered to the Malaysian academia. So after the COVID, there is a mixture of online and physical exchange program available to the academia. So most of the exchange programs that exist in the academia represents a common form of multi-purpose networking event in which the researchers will be able to present and then share their knowledge, their skills, and their ideas with overseas researchers in order to form a collaborations or for a deeper discussion about their research project. So the exchange program themselves serve as a platform for the researchers and the students to enhance their personal and academic development by exposing themselves to the global and the cultural awareness. And until most recently, a large amount of pre-COVID-19 studies have been performed to investigate the effect of these exchange programs in terms of, for example, cultural learning, um, knowledge transfer, and the networking. However, the perception towards the exchange program has seen a tremendous shift after the population has experienced the dreadful effect of the pandemic. And while traditionally and intuitively, most of the researchers will wait patiently for the travel restriction to be lifted and then rejoin the physical exchange program. But due to the increase in the digital competencies, the access to the high-speed internet, as well as the increased use of online platform during the lockdown period, the perceptions might have changed in a drastic way. And accordingly, there is a large amount of hybrid of physical and virtual forms of exchange programs which will be able to deliver different kind of experiences in terms of cultural learning, intellectual transfer, and networking. And according to our best knowledge, there is still no study that concentrates on the preferences on the mode of the exchange program and the perception towards these different types of exchange programs. So in this study, we come up with a research question: what is the level of interest about different modes of exchange program in the post-COVID-19 era among the Malaysian academia? In this investigation, we focus on the level of interest of Japanese exchange program in the pre and post-COVID era, and this was divided into two sections. The first sections would concentrate on the level of physical Japanese exchange program among the Malaysian, while the second section will focus on the level of virtual Japanese exchange program among the Malaysian academia. In this work, we have recruited a total of 100 respondents, and These respondent age range from 22 to 46 years old, where 57.6% were females and the remaining were males. Majority of these respondents were undergraduates, followed by the master holder and lastly the PhD holders. The percentage of the respondents are as below. Undergraduates 39.4%, master degree 33.3%, and lastly, the PhD holders 27.3%. The questionnaire adopted a 5-point Likert scale ranging from strongly disagree, which will be denoted as 1, to strongly agree, which will be denoted to 5. The descriptive statistics use the mean and the standard deviation to interpret the level of interest and the factors of selecting modes of exchange program among the Malaysian academia. So this is the result that we have obtained from our study, in which the first figure actually indicates the level of interest in the physical exchange program before and after the COVID in terms of networking, cultural exchange, and intellectual advancement. So accordingly, 52% of the respondents strongly indicated their level of interest in the physical exchange program in terms of networking. 55% of the respondents strongly indicated their level of interest in the cultural experience, and 65% of the respondents strongly indicated their level of interest in the intellectual advancement before the pandemic outbreak. The level of interest increased further to 69%, 72%, and 77% in terms of networking, cultural experience, and intellectual advancement, respectively, after the exchange program resumed after the situation improved. So, for instance, we can observe a strong inclination towards the physical exchange program after the pandemic can be due to the long-time success of the Japanese exchange program among the Malaysian, in which is very helpful in promoting the knowledge transfer in the research activity and multicultural understanding. Other possible explanation for the increase in the level of interest in physical exchange might include the motivation to travel overseas after 2 years of lockdown and travel restrictions, as well as the curiosity to explore the world after the pandemic. The second figure actually shows the level of interest in the virtual exchange program before and after the COVID in terms of networking, cultural exchange, and intellectual advancement. So, based on the finding, we can see that virtual exchange suffer from a low point of interest among the Malaysian academia before the pandemic outbreak. Accordingly, only 12% of the respondents show a strong level of interest in virtual exchange in terms of networking, 17% in terms of cultural exchange, and 21% in terms of intellectual advancement. Comparatively, 22% of the respondents show a strong disapproval in the virtual exchange in terms of networking, 23% in terms of cultural learning, and 22% in terms of intellectual advancement. But interestingly, the trend showed obvious changes after the pandemic outbreak. More than 61% of the respondents show strong level of interest in virtual exchange in terms of networking. 60% of the respondents show strong level of interest in terms of cultural exchange and intellectual advancement, respectively. This significant change actually implies the gradual acceptance of virtual exchange among the Malaysian academia, and the change is understandable as the intensive use of online meeting tools during the lockdown might have extended profound impact on the Malaysian daily lifestyle, which subsequently affect their daily habits, their daily living habits. And we can conclude that this is the first quantitative study that investigated the level of interest towards different modes of exchange programs among the Malaysian academia before and after the pandemic outbreak. And we have validated the result, the research questions based on the analysis results. While the physical exchange program continued to play a dominant role in the post-COVID-19 era, the virtual exchange program has seen a remarkable growing interest among the Malaysian due to several external factors that has changed their daily lifestyle permanently. So before we end the presentation today, all the authors would like to express their gratitude and acknowledge the financial support provided by the Toshiba International Foundation TIFO in supporting this project financially. So thank you everyone for attending to this presentation.